Hello and welcome to Fifth and Grace. Today we're going to have a look at Mark Carney and the Liberal Party of Canada. Oh, oh my. There's a lot of scandals coming up right now. There's the buttons. There's the Chinese election interference. There's the RCMP report that came out. And that's just in the last couple of days. Yeah, there's a lot going on. There seems to be some skullduggery. Skullduggery. Oh my gosh. These cards are super slidey. Super slidey. There's definitely something underhanded going on within the Liberal Party. Anybody who denies it is insane. I'm just going to say it. Just going to say it. And we're just going to toss in here, allegedly for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research. Watch the news. Well, actually, don't watch the news. Watch the people broadcasting on YouTube to get your news. So people like Jasmine Lane, Northern Perspective, Moose on the Loose, Dan Freeman, who else is it? Pleb. Like there's all kinds of people doing really great work of taking the highlights of the day and dissecting them for all of us. So in 30 minutes, we can be all caught up instead of spending our whole day chasing news articles that are, if the government owns the news and they're telling you what's what, well, you can assume there's a lot missing from the story. So we're just going to have a look. We're going to pull a few cards. This is the investigation tarot. Yeah. Oh, isn't that a cool card? The Fool. Yeah, he thinks we're all fools. Trust me on this one. He thinks we are all fools and that we don't know. Like, it's amazing. This man lies. Yeah, behind closed doors. No kidding. This man lies so much. It is wild. And like, there's nobody, none of his supporters and voters are like, wait a minute, did you just lie? It's everybody else who's like, but you just like he plagiarized his thesis. He's basically plagiarized the entire conservative platform. He's lying about people, situations, places, saying, nope, never heard of that person. And then we're like, oh, here's a photo of you with them. Interesting. Never heard of them. Never, and he's trying to play it like, well, when you're at big events, sometimes you're in the same room as someone. And it's like, well, yeah, but you posed for a photo with them. So, I don't know. I don't know. I hope that the average Canadian isn't so stupid that they fall for this man. I know there's a lot of people who are, but I mean, the fact that he's lying straight to your face and that doesn't bother people. Like there are people that they're just like, don't care. All I care about is that this man is going to deal with Donald Trump. And they don't care that someone quite close to Mark Carney has said that Ottawa will quietly fold. And I read that as he'll just hand Canada over to Donald Trump. That's the deal. On that telephone call where Donald Trump said we agree on many things, I get the sense that they agreed that Mark Carney, if he's elected prime minister, will hand Canada over. That was the agreement that was made. I think that's what was said. We're not going to do reversals. So staged, set up, framed. Isn't this deck gorgeous? It does all feel very staged, doesn't it? Like there's a part of me that thinks to myself, is this just a big game to see how far they can push people and still get them to vote for them? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how many things would have to come out for Mark Carney, for a liberal, to say, maybe this isn't the best choice. Maybe this isn't the person we should be backing. And if that's, they haven't even released a platform. I think it will be after the election, if he gets elected, that you will find out what the platform is. You are not actually able to vote right now on a platform because the party hasn't released it. And I know that people are taking his resume and saying, oh, this is a platform. But no, it's not. That's just his resume. And if you look around the world at the results of his work, he leaves countries devastated. He ruins every country that he's ever touched. So there is a part of me that has been wondering lately, like, is this just a game? Is this just theater to see what will people keep clapping for? How bad does it have to get before the average, not, you know what, I don't even think it's the average liberal. I think it's the extremist, lefty, communist, Marxist types. The ones that will just, the cult, the ones that will just never see it. Or they'll see it, but they don't care. Like there are people right now still like foaming at the mouth to vote for Mark Carney, even though he's owned by China, essentially, allegedly, for entertainment purposes only, like whatever. Just go read the articles. You know, it's not that hard to find this information. So anyway, there is a part of me that does sort of feel like this is staged. Like it's all just fake. It's theater. And it's interesting that Donald Trump quite a bit has said things like, you know, he's straight out of central casting, which is like, you know, where you would go to get actors to fit a role that look the part. You know, there's a guy that I know that my husband plays rugby with, and he literally looks like a rugby player. Like you look at him and you'd be like, you cannot be anything other than a rugby player. He just does. Like he's central casting rugby player. So there's, you know, I feel like there is some, you know what it's reminding me of is that movie, The Game, with Michael Douglas and Sean Penn. And Sean Penn basically buys his older brother like this horrific experience, which is meant to tap into his strength and his courage and what he's made of and everything else. And at the end, it comes out, he arrives and it comes out, oh, it's his surprise birthday party and it was all just a game and he did it and he survived and good for him. That's what that feels like right now. That's how Canada feels right now. It's almost like it's just, this can't be real. Let me know what you think. Tell me in the comments, are you feeling the same way? Or are you like, nope, Mark Carney's the greatest thing to walk the earth? Because if that's the case, well, enjoy living in a box by the river. Unaware of surroundings. Interesting. Oh, my guides are like, duh. This man has not lived in Canada for 10 years. That's why he knows nothing about Canada and Canadians. And he's so out of touch. He's so out of touch with like 99% of the world, probably more. He's completely out of touch. But yeah, well, here's for an example. People said, what's your connection to the riding that you're running in? And he said, oh, my best man when I got married is from that area, so I know it well. And it's like, well, no, we don't get to know the culture and geography of a town through osmosis. You actually have to go there. You actually have to be there and experience some life there to know a place. So you can't just sort of hear about it from your friend and say, oh yeah, I know all about the place. Yeah. Exposed secrets. Well, yeah, it's all coming out. It's all coming out. And it shouldn't come as any surprise to anybody. I mean, he's so high up in the World Economic Forum, allegedly. And he's done so much damage around the world that he's tried to keep secret. Like people are digging, looking for his secrets, like his thesis and things like that. So yeah, all of his secrets are being exposed. Isn't that interesting? Wheel of Fortune, payback. All right, we're going to look a little deeper into that card. Interesting. The Wheel of Fortune, payback. So in the tarot, the Wheel of Fortune would tell me like a situation is evolving. It's because the wheel just keeps moving, and it's evolving. And sometimes you got to jump off the wheel to stop the madness. But the payback element here is like, who's getting paid back? And I'm not taking it as a positive, like, oh, I'm paying back some money I owe you or something like that. It's like, this is payback. This is revenge. Okay, I've got I've got my handy dandy tokens. So we are going to dig a little deeper there. Digital footprint. So yeah, a lot of stuff is coming out online. I also think, well, we do know for a fact. I heard Dan Freeman said a great line the other day. We know this for a fact, unless you're a liberal. He wants that central banking, digital ID, all of that stuff. So your digital footprint would be controlling your life. And that whole thing, like in what's going on in Scotland right now, people being arrested for things they say on Facebook or sharing something that is unpleasant towards the government. So you're not even allowed to disagree with the government anymore, which is what prompted that moment at the White House when J.D. Vance had a go at Keir Starmer, who is the Prime Minister of the UK, who said, yes, I'm very proud of our history of free speech. Yeah, history of free speech. It is history now. In the UK, there's no such thing as free speech anymore. And Canada is not far behind if Mark Carney gets elected or if the Liberals get elected and form the government. So, yeah, interesting. Interesting. Let's, I'm going to pull these two out because I want to see a bit more about them. Sorry, these cards are so slippery, I can barely feel them. Okay, so we're going to use our handy dandy little tokens here and see what comes up. Oh, look at that. Okay, let me grab my little chart here. 118. See, I've got all of them. I had to write them out a little bigger so I can actually see them because, you know, I'm not that young anymore. And now now I can't find my chart of this one. Where the heck is it? Oh, here we go. 118. Taurus. I have. We know he's not a Taurus because he just had a birthday. Okay. And 79 is the movie projector. Nostalgia, replaying old memories. Yeah, like his thesis. Somebody went back. This man is 60 years old, so he wrote his thesis like at least 30 years ago. And it's now coming back to bite him. It's coming back to bite him. And this is 117. Nope, not 117. 115. I don't have my glasses on. And it's a stadium. The world stage, prominent events. Like, I just really feel like this is just so staged. Like, it's just theater for the masses to distract us from the real stuff. Interesting. Okay, so let's have a look at the Wheel of Fortune. So we have, there we go. Oopsie. All right, 52. Where is 52? Jack-o'-lantern. Protection from evil spirits. I feel like we need to be protected from him. I'm going to go out on a limb and say my opinion is that although he tells us he's a Catholic and just took communion, he's actually a Satanist. That is my opinion. Don't come for me on that one. I think he's the evil spirit that we need to be protected from. And if this is an evolving situation and the wheel keeps turning, I'm going to sit with that for a second. 124 is Scorpio. I desire. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. 60 is the seahorse. Luck, strength, and power. We know he wants power. That's all they want. These guys, all they want is all the money in the world and all the power in the world, and they do not give a shiz about any of the people they leave in their wake. They do not care who they destroy. Not one bit. And our bird with the flower, it's almost like a little like dove. it's about hope and a truce. This is really interesting. I wonder if this means that, like, there's just going to be a truce among the world, a truce among Canadians. Their drugs, alcohol, or blood. There's your satanic rituals right there. Interesting. All right. All right, let's pull some tarot cards and see what comes out for Mark Carney. I don't even like saying the man's name, but here we are. Here we are. Oopsie. Yeah, see, my cards are so slippery. They just slipped right out of my hands and onto the floor. So we'll pick them up later. That's how it's going here. That's how it's going here. All right, let's have a look. And yes, this is serious business. So I've got my working deck here, not the April deck. So my working deck is a Rider-Waite. That's the one I use when I work with clients or we're doing very serious work. Because we don't want any fluff. No fluff. All right. So. Money, 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 money. So yeah, he wants all the money. He just wants all the money. That's it. He's here to take all your money. And he's going to tax you into oblivion. Okay? So this is how he feels right now. This is our present situation. Canadians are being taxed to death. We're like, even 2 years ago, the cost of living was so much lower because we didn't have all these excess taxes. And so, yeah, that, his major past struggle is, you know, there was a decision that he had to make. I wonder if this is like the moment he sold his soul. Yeah, interesting. Because we don't know a lot about who he was before all of this. Like, we know who he was as the governor of the Bank of Canada, the governor of the Bank of England. We know what a terrible job he did doing that and creating economic crisis. Like, he sat there and said, we're in a recession, but now running for prime minister, he's like, no, we've never had a recession. And it's like, really? Like, you're getting caught in more of your lies, right? So we don't know who he was before he started all this nonsense, but I suspect there's a moment where he had to make a decision, you know, what path he was going to go down. Is he going to go down the path of evil and get everything he wants and desires, or is he going to go down the path of goodness and maybe actually have to work hard in his life and not destroy people and be a good person? We know what path he chose, but this feels like this is the crossroads for him. At some point in his life, I would say before he was 30, he had to make these decisions. Like, he wasn't born this way. He was shaped to be this way. And you know, his parents would have an influence and things like that. I mean, his father didn't he run like a residential school? I mean, I don't think that we can judge people today by what was happening, you know, 50, 60, 70 years ago. But certainly it's not a good look. Not a good look. Not a good look. There's going to be some conflict coming up. I mean, there already is, but this is more like conflict within the party. We may see people start to turn on him because he, kind of like with Justin Trudeau, all the Liberals were bailing on the party because they knew that with him leading the party, they would not get reelected. And then Mark Carney showed up and, you know, everybody's like, oh, yay, now we can get back to business. But I think that as all of these things are coming out, there has to be within the Liberal Party some good people. There has to be. They can't all be evil. There has to be good people. And those people may be causing some conflict within the party and saying, like, you know what, we shouldn't be breaking election laws. Maybe we should just run a clean campaign. Can we not just get by on our record? Can we not just get by? Well, no, they couldn't get by on their record because they've literally destroyed Canada. But the sense is that there's going to be some shakeup, some conflict within the party. Definitely. Card number 4, being judged. His overriding concern is that he's being judged. Yeah. And this is not a man who's used to being judged. He's not used to being questioned. He's not used to having to defend every word that comes out of his mouth. And I don't know why he wants this job as leader of the party and prime minister when he obviously hates it. You can tell, like, he's, like he thinks, oh, this is just the campaign. I'll just be asked questions on the campaign. No, every day that he has a role within the government, he will be questioned by reporters incessantly. And he'll be questioned by other people in other parties. And he doesn't like that. And he's being judged constantly by everybody. And judging doesn't necessarily mean negative. It could just mean, like, everything's a judgment. You say the sky is blue, that's a judgment. But he's being judged a lot. And every word is being scrutinized. And he does not like that. And that is concerning him. Which is why he keeps taking a few days off here and there, because he just can't handle it. He doesn't have the stamina for this. Pierre Poilievre you can interrogate him all day long. He maintains the same energy, the same responses, the same ideals the entire time. He doesn't get frustrated. He doesn't get pissed off. I mean, he gets pissed off when you ask him a stupid question like, are you going to step aside for the sake of the country? No. What a stupid question. But I've seen him with all kinds of different journalists, and yeah, he's always ready to go. Always ready to answer questions, always ready to explain what's going on and defend the party platform. So Mark Carney is definitely, I'm wondering if he's having some regrets. Like, he's like, because, being prime minister, answering questions is like 90% of the job. And he's, as CEO of everything, he's never been held accountable to anybody but the shareholders. And he's never had to defend his position. So yeah, that's starting to create some issues for sure. The emotional undercurrent. I'm going to let this one speak for itself. I may have a little something to say. He's feeling very shackled to something. Yeah, his fear. His fear is that he may win. I think it's like he wants it so he can have the power and all the money in Canada and then just bugger off. He will not, if he does win, he'll not be here for 4 years. That's for sure. No way. He'll be living somewhere else and calling it in while taking your money. So there's that fear. But the fear, I think there's a fear within him that he's like, oh my God, I could actually win. And then be responsible for all of it. And then actually have to do this. And it's not theater anymore. This also lets me know that we're at the end of a cycle. So this could be a good thing. This could be a good thing. His obsession, getting all the money, making everybody poor, getting all the money, changing how we see money, changing how we view money, changing how we use money. Digital currencies. Digital currencies. He's obsessed. He is obsessed. And his driving ambition is, let me see if I can distill this down. The driving ambition is to get the whole world into his way of thinking. That everybody's got now this new beautiful way of thinking, which is net zero, digital currency, 100 million people living in Canada, no industry, no births, because that would go against their agenda. Yeah. And the main obstacle, the people around him, people who think he can actually do this. Yeah, there's almost a sense that he's kind of being forced. Do you ever find yourself in a role where people are like, go on, you can do it. Come on, you're the best. You got to do it. You got to do it for everybody. It's like that. It's that sense of kind of almost being forced into it. Interesting. Interesting. And let's see the shadow card. The burdens. I think he will find any of this, if he is elected, he will find it very burdensome. And he'll just hand it off to other people while he buggers off and does whatever globalists do at Davos or whatever. You know, he'll just go back to New York and hang out with his wife and child, whoever he's got in his life. He's a New Yorker, apparently. So there you have it. Just a little insight into what's going on within the Liberal Party, Mark Carney, things like that. Let me know what you think. If your comments are nasty and horrible and nothing to do with this reading, they will be deleted, just so that you know. This is a zero tolerance zone. I'm all for free speech. I'm all for debate and conversation. But if you're going to start with stuff that has nothing to do with this particular reading, then just don't. Save it for when I am talking about the topic you've got something to say about. Trust me, it'll come up. It will come up. And if you're wondering, what the heck is she talking about? Just say, this reading has nothing to do with Donald Trump, okay? Okay? Just know that. Just know that. All right. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope this was helpful. And don't forget to click subscribe. Leave a comment letting me know what you think. Let me know how you're feeling about this, what came up for you while you were watching this video. And if you got nothing to say, then just say hi and let me know that you were here, and click like, click subscribe, do all the things. You know what to do. I shouldn't have to tell you. You know what to do. As ever, have a magical day.